Hello to all the meeps and bubbles and welcome back to another episode of Oxygen Not Included Let's Play. My name is Luma and let's start with the recap. In the last episode we added another filtration room filled with chlorine so we can finally use the bathroom that we placed underneath our pyramid. Right here. The rocket got slightly changed and we did a little bit of research. We created another one of the Thimble pip farms right next to our old ones that got too hot. We had a total brownout and because of that power outage I had to add another backup system. We used a glitch pump to fill our magma reservoir, as you can see here. The industrial brick got a couple of improvements, like the temperature control. We made space for whatever we might need in the future. And we improved on the living arrangements on Oozista. The plans for today were going more heavily into rockets as well as designing an interior. And while aiming towards that, I guessed petroleum would come in handy, so I built a petroleum boiler. And we took care of a couple of minor things. Hey guys, because in the last poll, the mods clearly won, let's activate apply as fixed and go right to the game. One of the issues that we have to take care of right away are the one Atmosuit, because we don't have enough Thimble to repair them all. So let's take care of that now. I scouted out an area with the right temperature range right underneath our recent farm between 22 and 37 degrees Celsius for the Thimble, as you can see right here. And now we just have to place down a couple of these hydroponic farm tiles, 2 or 3 should be enough, and connect it up to our liquid reservoir with the polluted water. That is where the pliers mod comes in handy, because we can just disconnect the spots right here, place down another bridge, and a bridge like so. Connect it up and run it through the tiles. The duplicants have finished the piping and now we can activate the right reservoir right here and take a look. The water is transported over, sent down through our spaghetti pipe and sent to the plant. Each Thimble takes 160 kilograms of polluted water a cycle. That is a lot. Let's take a look how much we have. We have around around 33 tons per tile. The trade-off between a domestic grown Thimble and a natural grown Thimble is this one only needs 2 cycles to grow, but also 160 kilograms of polluted water each cycle. This one needs 8 cycles to grow, but no water at all. And here we can see what I didn't think of. The polluted water that I'm pumping in right now is at 67 degrees Celsius, so it's way too hot for our Thimble. That is quite annoying. Should have cooled that down. In order to tackle that problem, I prepared a space right here with a couple of materials on the floor so we can build a temperature control unit. The design is inspired by Tara LPL from the Discord server. Let us start with 2 square boxes made out of steel. One will be cooled by an aqua tuner and will be very cold, and the other one will be the temperature controlled unit. Each of them will get a couple of radiant liquid pipes so that the liquid that we are running through can even out in temperature pretty quickly. So what did I create right here? I placed down an aqua tuner setup so that the first chamber, which I'm gonna fill with water, to be exactly, I'm gonna fill it with Tempshift plates made out of ice. This will be the main chamber that gets cooled down. The cold can then get transferred to the lower chamber, which also will be filled with the water. We're gonna place from the automation a thermosensor right in it, made from gold. This will control the doors that will be placed right here. The doors then control the second unit to be an exact temperature that we can set with the thermosensor. So I'm gonna set this to in between 22 and 37 degrees. We have a perfectly controlled water temperature for our Thimble. Now that the main chambers have been built, we can deconstruct the ladders and place down the doors. Also, we can place down from the utility tab the Tempshift plates made out of ice, if I find them, as usual. Oh, we can use polluted ice too. Interesting. Let's use the polluted ice. The reason why I'm using Tempshift plates to transport the water is because you can transport 800 kilograms at once. That is way faster than using the bottle emptier. Then 2 steel doors and a sensor. Now we have to cancel all excess Tempshift plates because we need to place down another metal tile before we do that. Stinky, didn't you hear me right now? Okay, now that the dupes spilled the polluted water all over the place, we can quickly finish the metal tile so that won't happen again. The same happened on top, so we have to do that there too. But after that we can close off the square. So now that the duplicants have filled all the chambers with polluted water, this one just needs 1 more of this polluted ice tiles, or maybe 2. And then we can place down the regular Tempshift plates, probably made out of iron or something like that. 1 here and 1 here. I opened up the chambers again and added one more Tempshift plate each. Nice, the cooling chamber and the temperature control chamber have been finished, so we can now do the piping for the aqua tuner. I'm going to use the usual piping here. The liquid will flow counterclockwise, go over the sensor into the white, then bridge onto the green outlet pipe. Okay, this has been finished, so we can complete the piping by just dragging this down, cancelling the order, and then we need liquids to fill both of the loops. Polluted water for here and polluted water for here, probably. For now, I'm just gonna use the output from the infinite storage right there, placing a bridge, use the new mod to cut the pipe, and that should be fine, yeah. We just have to hook something up to that pipe here, deconstruct what we don't need, and bridge it onto our loop. I jumped a little bit ahead to a time when the duplicants finally finished the setup. So let me explain this. This is our cooling chamber, which can be as cold as possible, and it is cooled down by the aqua tuner to the right. Underneath the cooling area, there's just the piping that you've seen before. The liquid in there, polluted water running counterclockwise, as you can see here, going over the sensor. The sensor controls the aqua tuner and is set to 0 degrees Celsius, so the cooling chamber should end up at minus 14 degrees maximum. Down here is our temperature control room, which should always be at 22 to 27 degrees Celsius. Right now it is only at 21, so we need to heat that up a little bit. Therefore, I placed down a liquid tepidizer, which I set to 22 degrees Celsius, but there was an air pocket, so it overheated a little bit. The water that is fed in comes from down here, from our infinite storage, and always gets fed onto that loop, but this loop has priority, so the liquid inside of the loop should always run counterclockwise, as you can see right here, and every polluted water that gets consumed by the plants will get replenished by the polluted water that is bridged onto that loop. At the moment the liquid is too cold, so it should get heated up by the liquid tepidizer, but that should only be a problem in the first couple of cycles, then it should only be cooled down. The tepidizer should not activate anymore. So for now, we will get 3 Thimble read every 2 cycles. That should be enough to keep our Atmosuits repaired. Now we can finally go to something else. Now that we have taken care of the Atmosuit issues, we can send over 2 Atmosuits or maybe 4 to Oozista so that the duplicants have an easy access to the oil biome and can send over some oil. Therefore, they will need steel to build the pump. And while we do that, why not send over a little bit of barbecue so the dupes are happier over there. As you can see, Harold is doing our research from our radioactive shine bug reactor thingy, and that has been enough to reach the hydrocarbon propulsion. So we probably need a little bit of petroleum. That is why I'm going to smack down a petroleum boiler next to our energy production in the magma biome. We could also get rid of some of the Dracos, so maybe the game is a little bit faster. Sorry Dracos. Why are you so happy about killing the Dracos? Look at her! Let's go over to Oozista and check if our stuff arrived. Here's our stuff. Here's the barbecue, which should be swept up very quickly. Let's take... oh, okay, that's not good. Let's place some granite tiles underneath here with the highest priority. Okay, now the barbecue is being swept up probably. We have the steel and the Atmosuits. What are we gonna do with that? Well, that's easy. We are going to the utilities. Nope, we are going to the stations and place down some Atmosuit dogs. 2 to be exactly. Right here and a checkpoint. Those then can be fed by our oxygen from here. Oh, it's already hooked up. But I'm gonna place down one of our filtration systems, which should be easy. We just need 2 of those bridges, 1 valve, which flows counterclockwise, so like this. This will be the oxygen that we are using. Ah, we can use the mod again. Very nice. And the oxygen that we are not using will come from here. So maybe 1 more base, like so. Cut this again. And connect up the gas vent. I love the morphs here. And then we can activate the gas pump again. Does this have power? Nope. Now it does. Nice to see this finally working. Hey, look what's printed. Another pip. Super awesome. Maybe I'm gonna print that on the main asteroid. There's the pip. Now we can capture the pip, wrangle it, and place it in one of our farms. Probably not this one, maybe one of the other ones that we haven't finished yet. So why not do that right now? Let's deconstruct all the doors, and after they finish that, deconstruct all the tiles that we don't need. And when the dupes will have finished that, we have 2 rooms that we can work with. I'm going to use the upper one of those 2 rooms, place down a critter drop-off as well as a storage bin, And then I was deciding on what seeds I want to put in there, and I was going with the spindly grub fruit because we can put in the beetles as well as the pips and the grubs. Because my hope was that a grub take care of the spindly grub fruit. Meanwhile, on Oozista, I already activated the gas pump, the gases are sent to the mechanical filter, and the oxygen will end up in our Atmosuit docks. Now that the dupes have working Atmosuit docks, we can go down to the oil biome, deconstruct the tiles that we needed to block them off, so they are not getting scolded, and our pump that we already placed down, made out of steel, should be connected to our cable. The cable is already there because our previous pump just burned down. Back on our main asteroid, the pip and the pipsqueak have been dropped, as well as the grub and the grub fruit seed. So now they should plant it, and we can see in the future how this goes. Let us start with the petroleum boiler. That should not be very complicated, but can probably take a while because the duplicants are super slow and this is not very easy to reach. Probably going to take the transit tube and make an access point right here. Okay, here we are. I give the duplicants some digging orders and let's speed this up and make a time lapse out of that. Nice, look what's printed. We got copper and seeds. I'm going for the seeds. And while we made space for the petroleum boiler, you can see that our Atmosuits are not getting filled with oxygen. That is because our pipes are empty. And our pipes are empty because our system is no longer producing oxygen, because as you can see here, we don't have any water. So let's activate our water supply again, which is not very full with only 2000 kilograms per tile. That's not enough for the future, so we have to refill that. We have one geyser here, which is cooled down from the cold biome, and that works fine. Then we have a second geyser, which we are not using at the time, and the water just drops down and accumulates here. So we could suck that up and transport it into our infinite storage. There's already a place for a pump. Maybe I had one there before. How hot is the water? 80 degrees, that's fine. Connect it up, and then we should probably go to Oozista and place down a hydro sensor so we don't have a continuous stream of only small pockets of crude oil. For the hydro sensor, I'm just going with steel and place it to the right of the pump. Set the priority to 9, skip a little bit ahead. Then there is Joshua bringing over the steel, building everything, and then we can set the sensor to around 500 kilograms, I guess. Here on the main planetoid, the duplicants already built the pump, which is very handy, and it is sucking up the water. You can feel the lag on this one. Now they alternate. And every liquid, as you can see, is filtered through their respective storages. Crude oil here, normal water here, and the polluted water here. Nice, this one should be easy, but take a while. We now have the free space to work with, so let's start with the edge piece. On the top left, that will decide where this build will end. Then a couple of ladders so the duplicants can reach everything easier, but remember to make them out of obsidian. Then I'm going to start with the liquid vent, and I'm going to build everything out of steel, because from 70 kilograms of iron we can make 100 kilograms of steel. So steel is basically the cheapest material that we have right now, even though we may have to produce some more. Let's make it 11 tiles long, like so. Go down. 3 tiles short. I guess it was like this. And the last layer will be a little bit different. The pump will go there. And the tile next to this will be an insulation tile. Ceramic. I am back here on Oozista, and as you can see, I'm letting the duplicants dig up some fossil. Here to the right and here to the left. Also, one more fossil tile here, so we can produce more steel, which we can use for our build. I also let the duplicants swap up every liquid that shouldn't be there, like that piece of water right there. Can't sweep that up, so maybe we should activate the hydro sensor for a short while. Nice, it's gone. I did that so we can be relatively sure that the pump only picks up crude oil. So we can use the output on the other side and directly feed it into our petroleum boiler. The duplicants finished this very quickly, so we can keep on going with the airflow tiles. I don't want to waste all my steel, but if I use gold amalgam and something weird happens and the magma gets teleported into this tile, which can happen, I've seen that, then the tile can overheat and probably make problems. So maybe we just wait until we have enough steel. But until then, we can go with the insulation made out of obsidian. And while the duplicants are thoroughly building the insulation tiles made out of obsidian, the rest of the duplicants are producing the steel that we can use right now for the airflow tiles. Oh man, come on. Mary, get out of there. Get out. Okay, thank you. In In order to create a heat spike down to the magma biome, I could either use steel or diamond. I think I'm gonna use diamond, so I'm going back to Oozista, where Joshua already dug that up, and hopefully one of our 2 dupes will collect that and bring that over. And I want them to also dig up this pocket of diamond. That could be very useful in the future. Now that we have access to the diamond, we can prepare the upper part of the diamond spike. Hey guys, a quick check on Oozista. I built one of those auto sweeper thingies so that the duplicants can place the contents in the storage bin, for example diamond and ores and other stuff, and it can get swept up and placed in the conveyor loader. Therefore I needed a mechatronics engineer, so I made Joshua a mechatronics engineer, and so he's not so stressed anymore. I'm going to skill scrub him, as you can see right now. Almost done. And let's check again. Nice. Now we give him the exosuit training and the digging. Back at our unfinished petroleum boiler, we can keep on going with the diamond spike down towards the magma biome. One insulation tile can keep the magma away, so we are not disturbed while building. And while this is being built, we can plan the piping for the crude oil. For that, this is the output where the crude oil will come from. It will end up here and be delivered to our infinite storages. This is the water that gets fed in from our steam geyser at the moment. So I'm gonna place down 2 liquid bridges, one right here, so that the water only gets fed this way. Therefore, I'm disconnecting this with a new mod, like that, taking the bridge, and every future crude oil will end up to the right. Every crude oil that is not used will be sent back to the infinite storages. So let's take this and route it to the right so we can use it down in our petroleum boiler. And for the finished petroleum to come back up, we need another pipe. So one pipe that leads back and feeds onto there without being able to come back. So we need to cut that again, like so. Take the bridge, place it there. Disconnect these 2, grab the pipe again, and then we can route this like so. Cancel those. To get the pipes down there, I made them out of granite. That's not so good. Let's use the igneous rock. I'm gonna replace the pipes that you've already seen, and I'm gonna route this downwards. Probably here, because the dupes need access to that. Back at the petroleum boiler, we will need a pump. I'm gonna make this out of steel. Right here. Connect it up. Not to this, because this is the input, this is the output. So should I use the insulation pipe or just a regular pipe? Should be fine, because it will be at around 80 degrees, I guess. But I'm gonna make this one tile here out of ceramic, just to be sure. Route this upwards and then connect it to this pipe. And since this will be the input pipe, we can run this down and connect these up, like so. Cancel that. And what was that about? Could you not do that? Fine. And connect this up to which one was which? God damn it. The right one is the crude oil one. So this is the crude oil pipe. Then I'm gonna need a liquid shutoff and a liquid vent, and they both will end up here and here, as well as a switch which can go here. So let's take the ladder and place it one to the right, made out of obsidian this time, and deconstruct the old ladders. Now we need a little bit of power, so let's quickly hook up the power cable to that. I'm gonna make this out of steel too, just because. This needs to go there. We also need power here, and I'm gonna place one of those power transformers in the room where there is the possibility that it gets cooled. Like so. Place down a couple of insulation tiles, and then we can run the cable through it. After that we can hook up the big cable. The dupes finished most of what we needed to build, so let's get back to the plumbing. Grab one of the liquid shutoffs, place it right here. One of the liquid valves. Let's better build them out of steel. You never know if they end up in the magma, which they shouldn't, to be honest, because there's liquid in there and that should not heat up. Connect them up, like so, and connect them up to switch. Where is the automation port for that? Did I build 2 valves? One valve? Yep, I did build 2 valves. That's not good. One shutoff and one valve. Then go back to automation. One switch right here. Deconstruct that and hook it up with a cable. Also, we can place down one of the hydro sensors right here, so we don't have a continuous stream of only a couple of grams of petroleum, but full packages if we decide that we want that. Let's see what is printed. We have another rocketry piloting dupe. That could be handy, but cannot dig, so we can't send it over to another planetoid. That is problematic, so for now, let's go with the fertilizer. The dupes have built the valve, so we can set that to around 3 kilogram because we have only one oil well, which produces 3,333 grams of crude oil. Then we can set this to above 500 and connect it up to the power, like so. Then we can close this off, leave this as access points for the dupes, dig a little bit deeper, store all the material. I'm gonna store this right here. So let's set this to refined metal, iron ore, and metal ore, iron ore. That's probably everything that is lying down here, yeah. And important, sweep only. Copy this over and hope the duplicants don't bring in anything that they shouldn't. And here you can see our material study terminal in action. Works pretty fine, and that's just with the shine bugs, but red bolts are used up pretty quickly. What are we researching at the time? We are researching the improved hydrocarbon propulsion. Here's our natural tile farm. We place down the beetles, the grub, the pips, and we have 2 spindly grubfruit plants at the moment. We can continue with the build up here. We need another door made out of steel. Let's grab that right now. Build that right here. A couple more insulation tiles. 2 or 3 Tempshift plates. 3 tiles here. 2 sensors made out of gold. Connect them up with a wire made out of steel. And connect them to a switch. And place down a little bit more insulation for that spot right there. The dupes have gotten pretty far with our petroleum boiler, so let's place down 2 more tiles right here to close this finally off. Go to the thermosensors, set those to 403 or 410 for the beginning, but we need to then reduce the temperature later on, because this tile here could break if the crude oil is coming in. And this is too hot. The temperature here could be already at a temperature that the crude oil inside of the pipe turns into petroleum and the pipe can break then. So that's why the temperature range is very narrow, so that it can still reach as crude oil and then turn into the petroleum. Copy the settings. I'm not sure if above or below because the doors confuse me, so let's switch that off. So at the moment this is below, so it should turn on, so this is wrong. This needs to be above, this needs to be above, and then we need a switch. And the door needs to be powered. Then we can continue with our spike. Let's make this longer, out of diamond, correct. Probably 2 here. Dig this up, and a couple of ladders probably, or like 1 ladder here, should be enough. And then we have the unpleasant task of digging up all the material without burning our duplicants to death. Guys, fatal error. They were already pumping in the crude oil and haven't finished building this one yet. So the crude oil will probably drop down, end up here and pollute everything with sour gas. So this is a game of time. I sent Nicola to run here and hopefully we can deconstruct this tile, but I highly doubt it. So maybe I need to reload a save file. I don't want that, come on. Oh man. Yes, nice, they saved it. Now again, deconstruct those 2 tiles, get the material out, rebuild this, and then everything should be fine. Let's make this all high priorities. Oh guys, seriously? Oh man. Okay, the dupes finished this. Now we can, and I left obsidian. Then we can close this off again. There's the crude oil again. We can turn this off. Let's place down another Tempshift plate made out of diamond right here. And then we can probably activate this by deactivating the switch. We activate the door because the sensors will send the red signal exactly. Now this will slowly heat up to the desired temperature of 410 degrees, turn into petroleum. And then we can add more crude oil and slowly fill this off. Now we can close this. Let's elongate the heat spike to probably down here. 1 obsidian ladder there and dig this up. While the dupes keep building the spike, let's add a couple more kilograms of the crude oil. Crude oil is being sent over in 3 kilogram packages, except for the first ones. Turn this off again. And while the crude oil slowly fills up the chamber and turns into petroleum, I'm going to let the duplicants dig up a little bit more of the abyssalite down in the magma biome. Let's see what's printed in. We got a couple of pufflets, but we don't need them at the moment. Husbandry, strength, okay, pufflet eggs. Now let's set this to 403 degrees. Copy the settings. Yeah, I know you're scolding. I keep an eye on you, Dupes. It's fine. Kinda. Come on, bird. Move out of the way. Okay, bird needs to go to the infirmary. That is right here. Bird. Go back down and check for the other dupes. Ruby's still fine. Ruby, are you suicidal? Seriously. Ooh, okay. Damn it, Ruby. And the last one. Stinky. No, Stinky. You need to go to the infirmary too. The petroleum is too hot. Why is it too hot? There, finally. Cold crude oil. Activating again. Ah, okay. When I made them out of steel, the heat transfer was less. So now this is pushing in way too much heat. I can't replace that now. So let's hope that this won't overheat with the cold incoming crude oil and the downflowing petroleum. It could be that 1 or 2 pipes break at the beginning, but we can easily replace them because we can destroy this tile and that tile, replace everything that is broken and close it off again, if we need to. Let's keep an eye on this, because if this reaches around 600-700 kilograms, it will spill over and the system is finished, and then we can use it. Only a couple more kilograms and this should flow over. Nice. And now the counterflow can begin. In case you are still wondering why all this piping instead of just dumping the crude oil inside the heat chamber like we did while filling this thing up, the downflowing petroleum will heat up the crude oil that is getting pumped up. So every degree that gets exchanged is super helpful in saving energy. So at a certain length of piping, the temperatures are fully exchanged. The incoming crude oil will almost have reached 403 degrees and only needs a tiny bit of energy to turn into petroleum. The downflowing petroleum will almost have cooled down to the same degree as the incoming crude oil. So it will be at 80 degrees as soon as we reach the pump. As you can see here, it is almost at 82 degrees by the 5th row. So we even could have skipped the last 2 rows, but normally I use gold instead of steel, so I wasn't sure. I just added a couple of rows. And now the pump will start when this reaches 500 kilograms. We can set it to 200. And that, guys, is one way to build a petroleum boiler. While digging out the rest of the tiles, this happened. Sure, bird, sure. You start from the unsafe side and not from the... Go... Okay, my fault. Okay, I forgot something very important. I forgot to hook those up. Hopefully this tile has already been built. Let's check that. Yep, it has been built. Nice. Okay, now the petroleum is sent over. And it should end up in our infinite storage, hopefully. Nice. This pipe is blocked because of the tiny water pockets. So for now, let's deconstruct this. Look what's printed, a couple of regular Dracos. We would have needed it way before that for the Thimble reed, because they both produce the reed fiber. Piloting. We will need a pilot in the future for our new rocket that we will be building. Let me think about that. I think we can actually take in Otto, so we have a second pilot, not just Rowan. So Otto, welcome to the base. Otto quickly got a new schedule, and most importantly, I'm gonna rename him to Auto Sweeper. And he will get his skills in piloting. Ooh, very nice. Now we can finally build the second rocket. Let's press stop and go to the rocket. We can build the petroleum engine. Awesome. Does the temperature matter for that? I actually don't really know. Let's build it out of steel. On top of that, we probably need a tank here. Large liquid fuel tank. Then a spacefarer module. Make this out of copper ore. A nose cone, and in between a couple of solar panels, I guess. Refined carbon and iron. We need a couple of ladders. Igneous rock or mafic rock, but we don't have any materials lying around, so they have to bring it over anyways. I guess 1 ladder is enough. And it happened, like I told you, one of the pipes broke, because the temperature here is at 410 and not 403. That's because our heat transfer is way too fast. And maybe I make those 2 out of steel. Let's first repair that. Then make those 2 out of steel. We can just build over that. Make this high priority. Those 2 too. They will repair that. Exactly. Take this out. And close this off again. Now we have diamond in there. Could you get a diamond out of there? That would be helpful. Or is it unreachable? No, it is reachable. Auto sweeper, no, you are not allowed in an Atmosuit. The dupes fixed the pipe, by the way, and I let them deconstruct the Tempshift plate made out of iron inside of our heat chamber. I also ordered them to deconstruct the Tempshift plate made out of diamond underneath the steel tiles. And I'm now going to replace it with another Tempshift plate that has a weaker thermal conductivity. Probably iron too. This is still getting too hot here. Maybe I need to insulate this tile. If I would have the full 10 kilograms, the cooling would be enough for this to work properly. But since I only have 3 kilograms, we need to take those drastic measures. Oh man, and while all of that happened, I totally missed how they built a rocket. We have a couple of inputs and a new in and output and a Wayfarer module and a Spacefarer module. Nice. Let's check the interior. Ooh, so much space. We can design something nice with that. Let's set a point and deconstruct the rocket station. Then we have a blank slate that we can work with. Here we go. So I'll be back when I've designed something. Look what's printed. More Sweetles. Before I show you the design that I came up with, here's the piping for now. This is the gas piping. I'm just leaching off of our Atmosuits. And this is the liquid piping connected up here. And I'm just leaching off from our bathroom. Maybe I need to pump in a little bit more water so I can fill this. I'm also replacing the floor with insulation so I can route our pipes through it. And that the dupes can reach it, I place down a couple of ladders. Finally guys, this took way longer than I'd like to admit. So first take a look at this. I managed to squeeze in a couple of rooms, as you can see here. This is a great hole, not a mess hole, so this is +6 morale. Then we have a washroom, which is +2 morale, and this was a barrack until I added the pump here, which gets rid of the carbon dioxide that can accumulate down here. Also the chlorine from our hand sanitizer. This functions as the entrance, the wall toilet, and as our Atmosuit checkpoint area. This is the barracks, which does no longer count as such. Then we have the rocket control station. We are pumping in high pressure gas. At the moment we are only at 1.2 kilogram, but I think I'm gonna pump in so much that we can go for 20 to 40 cycles if we really need to, because I added 10 kilograms of barbecue, which is 40,000 calories. We could survive for 20 days with 2 duplicants. Also, I added a telescope, so the dupes were researching all the while I was building this. We have 2 mess tables, a little bit of decor, which you can see here. The decor is super high, which with over 300, 400 I guess. And those glass tiles are actually diamond. So I only have 2 slots that could be used. This slot, oh, and maybe here a wall slot. So we have 3 more spaces that could be used for power outlets or something like that. The carbon dioxide and the chlorine is just dumped into space. The water for the toilets will come from this outlet. Fill the pipes. Each pipe piece will have 10 kilograms of water, and each flush will, I think, only use 2.5 kilograms. So each one of those pipe pieces should last for 4 toilet visits. So this should be enough for all the cycles for the duplicants. Look at what the dupes researched while we were building the rocket. So what did we find? We have Oozista right here. Barculus right next to us. Interesting. Whatever that is. Can't oversee it. That is a quick travel, I guess. Hey, back to the map. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm glad to have you here. And if you liked what you've seen, then please press the like button for the YouTube algorithm. And I would really enjoy having you on the next one. Love you guys, and Luma out.